Welcome to episode 2 of the 2-Minute Truth. I'm your host, Tom Baker. Now, fair warning, today's episode is going to run a little long because the topic is so important that we thought it was worth the extra time. Today we're going to discuss freedom of the press. It's an idea so powerful that the framers of the Constitution enshrined it in the very first amendment of the Bill of Rights. And now that right is under attack. Fake news, opposition party, enemies of the American people. All of those words have been uttered by the man who's been sworn to uphold the Constitution. Now think about that. The man whose job it is to protect the very framework of our democracy is waging war against a group of people entrusted to preserve it. The president is declaring war on the First Amendment and he is bragging about it. Everyone listening should just be furious. Now, I'm not here to say that fake news doesn't exist. It does. The internet has made fake news easy and very, very profitable. Organizations like Breitbart and InfoWars literally make up stories to fit their agenda. And it's not just the right wing. Sites on the left do it too. But you know who doesn't do it? The real press. You know how the real press works? When the press begins to investigate a story, they don't just run rumor and conjecture. It's not Twitter or Sean Hannity. The real press looks for sources. No source, no story. And if the source is confidential, even more rigorous vetting happens. The editor or the news director will almost always insist on knowing who that source is, and they got to make sure that person is credible. And one source, unless it is somebody highly reliable, isn't enough most of the time. The magic number is usually 3. So when you see a story on NBC, CBS, CNN, The Washington Post, the Christian Science Monitor, or oh yeah, the New York Times, they aren't just pulling things out of their ass. They followed a set of guidelines to ensure what they're presenting to you is as accurate as possible. Now that doesn't mean that they won't make a mistake. Mistakes happen, of course they do. We all make mistakes. But when they do, they're retracted. A mistake by the news doesn't mean it was fake, it just means they were wrong. So when the President of the United States attacks the press, he's attacking your right to the truth. He's attacking your ability to make an informed decision. Now, why would he do that? What's the President's endgame? And why is he so hell-bent on discrediting credible news sources? Is it a thin skin or something deeper and more sinister? I don't know the answer to that, but the fact that I have to ask that question should have us all concerned. We must not and cannot accept a president who wants to be the sole source of truth. See, that's not democracy, and that is not how America works. It's time for us folks to wake up and have our mad as hell moment. It's time for us to take back democracy and to stand up for the Constitution. We need to scream and yell and fight for the right of a free press in the same manner that we might fight for freedom of speech or freedom of religion or, oh yeah, freedom to own a firearm. Because one right is not more or less important than another. And just because you disagree with certain aspects of it doesn't mean that it's wrong. I might not like religion, you might not like New York Times. But if we don't stand up and fight for the rights, the one that they go after tomorrow could be the one that you hold most dear. The press is not the enemy. Holding politicians accountable is not treason. It's how a free society endures. And now that's under siege. We cannot let that continue. That's the 2-Minute Truth.